meditate on this. The subconscious mind is like a black hole. It's a vacuum. It pulls in everything that crosses its path. The portals or gateways to the subconscious mind exist on the human body, in the human body. Some of them are called ears, some of them are called eyes. And you can receive certain signals and things and messages, etc., through these senses, through these tools for senses, sight, hearing, etc. But no matter what you do, no matter what you put in front of your ears, no matter what you put in front of your eyes, just understand that the subconscious mind is going to receive that and it's going to be embedded within you in perpetuity. It's going to be with you forever. And the people in power know this. The ruling class know this, and they do a damn good job of putting things in there that are not going to lead to quality of thought. It's important that you take control of this and try to embed things with high quality of thought into your subconscious mind, so that when they come back to the surface, when they come back, they pop out on the other side, they're fruitful. They're things that are good for you, things that lead to quality of thought. So try to embed good things in your subconscious mind. Now that we know we have to program the subconscious mind, do that consciously, the next question becomes, with what? I believe we need to start with music. Music is very natural. Everybody loves music. They're even treating dementia with music, because music can take you to the past, bring you to memories, the vibe. Everything is just seems to come into focus clearly. It's easily visualized when you put music and have a soundtrack to your life. And so what type of music do we listen to? You know, it's part of our daily ritual. It's part of our daily dealings in programming the subconscious mind. The type of music we listen to is very important. And think about quality of thought. Is your music going to nurture the idea of quality of thought? Or is it ratchet? Is it supremely ghetto? Is it trash? Or is it breathing life into you? Right? It's the difference between listening to, you know, something that's promoting death as to something that's promoting life. Looking at some of the neurological effects that happen when you listen to certain types of music, nourishing the brain with that type of music. The TV shows you watch, the movies you watch. What type of shows do you watch, and how are you inspired by them? What are the images that are being implanted in your subconscious mind from the movies and TV and the media that you watch, from the things you watch on YouTube, etc., etc. If you look at one of those controversial stories about TikTok, I said that Chinese people, or the Chinese Communist Party, whatever, has a different algorithm than the one for the Western nations. The one in the Western nations, the kids are watching videos that go viral, doing pranks and all types of silly stuff. And China's algorithm is showing kids completing puzzles and doing math. These are the things they're promoting because they understand the programming of the subconscious mind is very important for the future of your people and where they're going. So with that same concept in mind, you know, what type of media are you always being influenced by? What type of media do you constantly force yourself to be influenced by? You know, what if we saw images of love all the time instead of images of destruction, war, etc., etc.?
What type of media is Hotep Jesus influenced by?
I like the old stuff. I like the classics. Mostly written work, literature. That's the type of stuff I listen to. I listen to a lot of lectures. You know, one of my favorite lecturers is John Henrik Clarke, Dr. Kaba Kamene. Those are like two of my faves. I like listening to scholarly work, scholarly teachers. I go to bed to to chess videos, but I also need some gangster in my life. You know, I'm not perfect, but I need some, you know, I need some cartel gang member, you know, type programming. This is, you know, that's the stuff I happen to like. You know, I like violent movies. I like heists. I like heist movies, like The Italian Job and Ocean's 11 and, you know, those types of things. I like military movies. Like, I thought the new Top Gun was amazing. But I also try to be conscious of what I'm seeing, and so, you know, what's clear is we're going to come across some content that is not going to nurture quality or high quality of thought. So what we have to do is we have to wrap this stuff with labels. So what you can do is when an image appears before your subconscious mind, what we can do is we can frame it. So when it gets embedded and it gets stored within your mental hard drive, it's filed in a folder, you know, marked bad, marked good, marked to question, marked, you know, you can label these things. So sometimes when things come into our subconscious mind, we don't frame it, we don't put a label on it. I think we have to say, okay, if I'm watching a movie and they're murdering people, let's say for instance, as we're watching this, we got to label that bad. This is bad. This is no bueno, right? And even some labels that your personal opinion might weigh in on, and how you manage this stuff logically. So even though everything is going to be received by your subconscious mind, and some things you may enjoy, some pieces of content you may enjoy, it's very important to frame that stuff and label that stuff. So when it gets into your subconscious mind, your conscious mind knows, okay, this is this and this is that. So it knows clear difference. It's not just sitting there to be sprouted later on in the wrong manner or intent. What is your receptivity? Are you receiving the signals, or are you only transmitting them? You have to tune your inner radio to receive messages, not only send them. Sometimes we get caught up with our conscious mind. Our conscious mind is constantly sending signals out to the universe, to God, to friends, family, etc., etc. But sometimes you have to reset yourself and come back to zero and just say, I'm not intending to send any messages, I'm intending to receive them. I call it no mind. I've spoken about this in the past. I want to open up the mind, enter a state of receptivity, to receive the signals, to be imbued by God. Messages, prescient visualizations, to be omniscient. All these things are made possible by entering a receptive state, by dismissing the world and all of its physicalness, dismissing the world and all of its 3D-ness, dismissing the matrix, forgetting you are of this physical dimension. Dismissing all of that, obviously easier said than done, but moving away from all of these things, dismissing them from their mind. And the easiest way to do that is to actually distract yourself. You have to distract yourself with the senses. It's much easier to enter a state of receptivity when you're out here and you have the breeze blowing against your skin. That's easy to meditate on. When you have the waves you can look at, the seagulls passing over your head, the sun and the way the sun shimmers off the surface of the water, the clouds, the people, all these things, if you allow them to, will open you up to receptivity. They make you receptive. In order to turn off your brain, you got to turn on your 5 senses. Or when I say brain, I mean that conscious mind sending signals and trying to enter a state of receiving the signals. For example, you can't eat and think at the same time. You're either tasting your food or you're thinking. You can't do both at the same time. You can do intervals. You can think and then taste, think and then taste. But while you're tasting your food, the only thing you're thinking about is, this food tastes good. You can only think about the food. So sometimes I like to hijack my subconscious when I don't have an environment like this. or hijack the conscious mind with a teaspoon of honey, a tablespoon of honey. That taste completely absorbs your conscious mind and focuses it in because that taste is just so full. So that's another way to hijack the conscious mind and put yourself in a place of receptivity. But the lesson here is remembering that in order to enter receptivity, sometimes you have to distract yourself, but distract yourself with those natural things that exist all around us. Enter a state of receptivity.
Yeah, I can try to get that handled for you. Again, it's only my second day, so if you can give me a second. How I'm supposed to do this? How the hell are we supposed to do this by 5 o'clock?
I have no clue.
Is that possible? Hey, do you have the password to... How'd you finish all your work already?
He's not tapped in. How'd you get that done so quick?
They think they're gonna be able to budget that?
It's money. That's money right there, you understand?
You guys finished your work 6 hours early?
He's not tapped in.
The views expressed by guests are their own, and their appearance on the program does not imply an endorsement of them or any entity they represent. Views and opinions expressed by Hotep Jesus are those of Hotep Jesuses and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Hotep Nation or any of its officials. If you have any questions about this disclaimer, please contact our Office of General Counsel via the sheet of account. And Hotep and them.
So Gavin Newsom goes to meet with Xi Jinping out in China, and everybody's losing their mind. Rightfully so, or wrongfully so? Or is there some nuance to this? The Grift Report starts right now.
2, 1, boom. Hotep Jesus.
Of all the Jesuses I know, he's the Hotepiest. Social scientist and YouTube host, Hotep Jesus.
How the fuck do you get a name like Hotep Jesus?
The one and only Hotep Jesus.
Ryan Sharp, better known to the world as Hotep Jesus.
Hotep Jesus. Hotep Jesus. Hotep Jesus.
Hotep, you're a genius. HotepJesus.com.
Somebody said, what do you think you are, some kind of Hotep Jesus?
Ooh,
and
that's
I was
good.
Just like, ooh, that's sexy. Yes, I do think I'm Hotep Jesus.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to the Grift Report. I'm your host.
Hotep Jesus. Hotep Jesus. Hotep Jesus.
Hotep, you're a genius. HotepJesus.com.
Oh, this is a real Hotep brother.
Hotep.
What's up, Hoteps? Shout out to my Hoteps in the chat. I see Rudy. Nerd Nash. What up, Nash? I see Nerd in the building. Joe Beard, Wilmar, what's up, man? Jay Pylon, what up? Where my rumblers at? Where my faithful rumblers at? Renee Vogel, what up, man? Hotep Boulay, what up, man? Rumble acting buggy? Yeah, I see. Yeah, it is. I just noticed it just now as you told me. Anyway, let's get to some announcements, and then we'll get into the Gavin Newsom situation and right the wrongs of your favorite influencers and their fear mongering. If you'd like to sell our products at menofwater.com, go to menofwater.com, hit the button that says earn. Might be in the menu if you're in desktop. If you're on mobile, just hit the earn button at the bottom of the screen. That's a new technological update. We'll explain that more on my locals. All of the behind the scenes stuff happening with me will be shared on locals. I'll give you advanced notice of everything we're doing with Men of Order and all of my projects, and you'll have advanced notice of everything new. And you'll be able to purchase everything before everybody else, et cetera, et cetera. So that link is also in the description box below to sign up for our affiliate program. Also, if you're into biohacking or want to get into biohacking, basically, using supplements to make yourself a better person, I do it. Most millionaires do it. I spoke to Tim Pool about this. Tim Pool spends about $1,000 a week, allegedly, on IV drips, et cetera, to keep him looking young and revitalize the cells in his body. So we're talking about $40 a month over at menofwater.com, and some people are spending $1,000 a week. I'm not up to $1,000 a week. I probably will at some point, but $1,000 That's just where the future is going, okay? And this is what successful people do. Successful people put expensive products in their body, not cheap shit. Many people put cheap shit in their body. Some people put expensive stuff in their body. So, you know, treat your body like a Mercedes-Benz and not like a Honda. Well, even though Honda is a good car, let me say a Kia. A Kia. Or maybe there's a worse car than the Kia. What else? Oh, yeah. If you want to stake on me, make a little bit of ROI, you think if you can put some money down on me and get a return, if you think I can build a community, which we've already done, in the crypto world, hit the link in the description box below. Take it to our Telegram group. That Telegram group will have all the details there, and you have an opportunity to make some money on your return. And then I'm probably going to operate my community out of the crypto world going forward, because I don't like some of these other platforms. Let's just leave it at that before I get messy. All right, let's get into today's stream. Gavin Newsom goes to China. Let's get ready to clip that. Let me find the video here. All right, let's pull this up. So Gavin Newsom goes to China. Everybody's like, oh my God, Gavin Newsom went to China. What's he doing in China? Why is he in China? Not China. Why is this not popping up? Oh, okay, there we go. A little bit of a glitch. All right, so let's watch the video. Let's see what he says.
Did you get a sense from him that this relationship is hurtling towards even a hot war in the next few years over Taiwan or whatever it might be? Or what sense did you get from him of a relationship that he wants to have with America going forward?
And the fact that we had access to these high-level meetings. I'll be meeting with 5 provincial governors tomorrow, another extension. I'll be meeting with 5. And the fact that we had access to these high-level meetings.
Wait a second. Wait a second. Wait a second. Wait a second. This video's doctored. I caught you, Tom Elliott. I caught you. Nice try, buddy. You can't pull one over on old Hotep.
War in the next few years.
This is 2 different parts of the conversation. Watch the clip. Watch him like jump like somewhere to another part of the conversation here.
Over Taiwan or whatever it might be. Or what sense did you get from him of a relationship that he wants to have with America going forward?
And the fact that we had access to these high-level meetings.
That's not how the conversation continued. That's just not. That's definitely spliced. There's some good propaganda from the right, yo. Wow. Little doctored video there. See, this is why I hate this political shit, because one day I'm defending the right, the next day I'm defending the left, and I don't want to defend either one of these slithery motherfuckers. I really don't. And that was definitely a splice to patch these two. Did anybody else in the chat catch this? They probably don't want to. They probably have a vested interest in just saying anything negative about Gavin Newsom. It's not really about accuracy and information. It's all about, hey, let's throw rocks at our enemy. And I'm going to show you how to throw rocks at your enemy from the Gavin Newsom situation, because nobody really caught on to it that I saw. Everybody was just more on the take of, oh, Gavin Newsom's going to run for president. You know, small brain take. That may be true, but just a little bit of a small brain take. I'm going to show you exactly what's happening here. But anyway, let's go to this doctored video.
Forward.
And the fact that we had access to these high-level meetings. I'll be meeting with.
He said Hotep on point. This is what happens when you take the men of order products. You know what I'm saying? Your brain is dialed in. You can't pull nothing on nobody that's got the Men of Order logo on their chest. You just can't do it.
5 provincial governors tomorrow, another extension of this visit. I think it's suggestive that we're entering, I hope, a new phase, bit of a thawing. The last few years have been.
Wait, was that another one, or did I just miss it?
Visit. I think it's suggestive that we're entering, I hope, a new phase, bit of a thawing. The last few years have been very stressful. I think it goes to your question. And we've got to turn down the heat. We've got to manage our strategic differences. We've got to reconcile our strategic red lines. Those are well established between our two countries. But I want to applaud the Biden administration. And on the basis of the engagement I had today with members of the Xi administration, President Xi himself, I want to applaud his willingness to reconcile those differences, people-to-people exchange. The fact he's meeting with the governor of California at the subnational level, I think, is indicative of a thawing.
Indicative of a what? A thawing? Well, here's what I want to say first before we dive into the deep dive into the nuance of this situation. When two diplomats meet and then they talk to the press, you should expect nothing of substance to come from the press. It's going to be your typical PR response, right? And really what you're looking for is, if you're his team or you're the opposition, you're looking to see how well does he stay on his PR, what do they call it? Best practices, right? You'll even see this with athletes. Athletes are the best example. You have some athletes that come out and they speak their mind, right? Like Deion Sanders, you're not getting a PR script. Other athletes are going to give you the same response every single time out because the PR tells them to say, hey, we had a great game. Credit goes to my teammates. Credit goes to the coach. We have a great bunch of fans. We're going to continue to work hard, and shout out to the opponent team, right? This is the PR best practices. When he goes in the locker room and talks to his family, he's going to say something completely different, right? So same thing when you have two diplomats meet, they're going to have a conversation in private, and then when they talk to the press, they're going to give you the same blanket. Everything went great. We're trying to resolve issues, and hopefully we can come to a great understanding, right? And God bless America and all that other banal shit, right? So when you watch this stuff, you shouldn't exactly be you're not going to find anything there. So what people try to do is they try to find something there, right? And when they can't find something there, what do? They just splice the video together and make something of it.
Hotep, you're a genius. HotepJesus.com.
Like this guy, Tom Elliott, or whoever he got this video from, or he did it, somebody else did it and he stole it. I don't know. But that's usually how this stuff goes. Now let's dive into what actually happened, right? Let's talk about what actually happened, and from the horse's mouth, right? We're going to go directly to the website of Gavin Newsom, California, and he's going to tell you exactly what the agenda was. It's right on their website, and you can just look at their website, and there's plenty here to be mad at. So you didn't need to jump to, oh my God, Gavin Newsom is running for president. No, it's actually a lot deeper than that. Gavin Newsom running for president is a huge distraction. Although it may happen, it's just not really important in the grand scheme of things. And I'm going to show you why. So first of all, everybody's making a big deal about the fact that, a governor met with, or a Democrat met with somebody from China. And obviously because of the implications of Biden and the rest of them, I can understand why, right? So they said here, Governor Newsom was the first governor to be in China in more than 4 years, right? So he's not the first governor to be in China. It says the first to meet with President Xi was Governor Brown in 2017, right? Let's go to Governor Brown. Let's pull this up. Sometimes I just get these thoughts of inspiration, right? So Governor Brown, this is Governor Brown. This is also of California. Now, why is this important? So when they told me that, or when a timeline told me that Governor Gavin Newsom was meeting with China, and I saw everybody losing their shit, I just thought about it for about 2 minutes and said, well, why would he meet with them? And then it hit me. So it hit me because I have anecdotal evidence. Depending on what part of California you're in, your Uber driver is either going to speak Spanish and no English, or one of the Asian countries, Chinese, and no English. I remember one time I had an Uber driver, and he turned out to be a big fan of mine. He wanted to take a picture, but he spoke no English, but he knew who I was. Interesting enough, or at least I don't even know if he knew who I was. He just assumed I was famous, and wanted to take a picture with me. So I'm not even sure if he knew who I was, but he wanted to take a picture of me for some reason. Anyway, I noticed that where I was, was that Santa Ana? I think it was Santa Ana. Anyway, 15% of California's population is Chinese. Let's see if we can look that stat up to make sure I'm correct. California population based on race. Let's see here. Okay, yeah. So here we have it. I looked this up earlier. I'm no genius.
Hotep, you're a genius. HotepJesus.com.
Okay, maybe I am. It says right here, 15% of Asian American or Pacific Islander, right? So they have a huge Asian population. Now, if you study any amount of history, you know, there was a lot of issues between America and China, and Chinese laborers and Chinese workers and Japanese workers and all of that stuff, right? There's a lot of history behind all of that, right? But the fact of the matter is, China's right there. Like the state closest to them, I guess outside of maybe Hawaii and Alaska. I don't know Alaska's proximity to Asia. I know it's much closer to Russia, which is part of Asia. But outside of those two, like Cali's right there. And that's a huge, huge, huge Asian population. So if the previous governor met with China, why wouldn't this governor meet with China? It kind of makes sense. And you'll see later on in the article why it makes sense for them to meet with China. Outside of all the speculation about Democrats taking money from China and all of that stuff. I do not want to minimize the importance of that stuff. But somebody that's a governor of California meeting with China is actually not abnormal. It's not something to be alarming about. It's just not, because there's a lot of history between California and China. Just is, you know. So it's a huge nothing burger there. As far as, you know, oh, a governor met with China. Like, okay. Now, if it was like a governor of Nebraska or something like that, then I'd be like, all right, hold up. Why is the governor of Nebraska meeting with him? You know, maybe I might be a little bit concerned, but this is California. It's right there. Huge, huge Asian influence. So let's go into the agenda and what they really covered. So, one thing is he invited Gavin invited Mr. Ping to the Asia Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit in San Francisco. Now, San Francisco has a huge Asian population as well as other types of populations. But let's go look this thing up. Let's go see what this is. It's probably some Illuminati World Economic Forum rigmarole. Okay, so this is about free trade between nations. Headquartered in Singapore. Okay. I mean, it checks out. I'm sure there's probably some dark lizard stuff going on here. But it looks like business as usual, right? Okay, let's go back. So he extended an invitation, right? Now, here's where things get spicy. And this is where the right starts to contradict themselves. This is where white conservatives, or I should say red whites, start to contradict themselves, okay? It says here, Governor Newsom's topics of discussion also included human rights violations and anti-democratic efforts. Isn't this the shit that conservatives be talking about? This is exactly, conservatives be like, but China, look at how they treat the Uyghurs. They have human rights violations. They're anti-democratic. This is the stuff they say. And Gavin Newsom goes over there and addresses these same exact talking points.
Same exact talking points. Let's continue. As well as David Lin, a California pastor who has been in prison in China since 2006. So this is a Christian pastor. He was in prison, and he went over there to talk about that. Like, yo, what's up? You got one of our bros in prison. Sounds like the right thing to do, no? The governor discussed his visit to the Middle East and how China can play a role in diffusing the tension in the region. So he went over there and talked about, obviously they're going to talk about Palestine and Israel. I mean, you can't not talk about that, right? You can't even leave the house and go see your friends without talking about that shit, or be with family and talk about that. So it had to be talked about, right? China's got ships in the region, not related to the Middle East conflict. And America has a large interest in the region. So obviously they're going to talk about that, right? Let's keep going. I'm going to skip that point. We're going to come back to that. The governor highlighted the importance of people-to-people cultural exchange, citing the rise in xenophobia and anti-Chinese rhetoric since the COVID-19 pandemic. Governor Newsom emphasized the path forward is through people-to-people relationships, cultural respect, and understanding. Now, the anti-Chinese rhetoric, who was just spewing or highlighting anti-Chinese rhetoric? The right was. They were complaining and saying the black people are attacking Asians. The black people are attacking Asians. Well, let's go into it. Y'all remember this video? Remember everybody was posting this video, the Chinese man who shot the black man in Philadelphia? Remember everybody was posting this video a couple of days back? I saw it. I ain't comment on it. I kept it pushing. But here we are. Here we are. It's now relevant. Now it's relevant in my world. Everybody was pushing this. Oh, look, the niggas got what they deserved. Keep in mind, there's no context to this at all. We don't know the official story. I looked, I scoured. There is no official story, right? People are saying that the two black guys tried to carjack these guys. I don't know how much I believe that. It doesn't usually not that I'm an expert in carjacking, but usually when you carjack somebody, you usually do it when they stop at a red light. Okay. You don't do it in a parking lot. You don't carjack people in a parking lot, especially when the parking lot is jammed up and there's no way to drive away with the car. If Elon's app worked, you'd be able to see that. Here, I'll show you in the video. Let's go. So they pull off and then they continue. They go nowhere. Oh, I wish Elon's app worked, yo. This app does not work for shit. Here, let's go right here. Look at that. Where are you going? Who are you carjacking? Who are you carjacking when the parking lot looks like this? Somebody please tell me. Who are you carjacking? You're not carjacking anybody because you're not going anywhere. So that's not a carjacking. Some people have said this was a drug deal gone wrong. Maybe. That seems more plausible. But maybe this is the Yakuza, right? That's also plausible. The fact of the matter is nobody knows what happened, right? But your far right-wing accounts, black people bad, Asian man good, which is just a complete contradiction to everything they stand for. Oh my God. On one hand, it's like China bad. But if the black man's going against China, China good. So this is just like, it's just like, I guess, well, we already covered that, black people are a target for the right wing now. They're not hiding their nepotism. I don't even want to call it racism anymore. They're not hiding their nepotism. They're not hiding their pro-whiteness. But the fact of the matter is, they have chosen the Chinese man. They've chosen Ping over Tyrone. Okay, they've chosen to side with Ping over Tyrone. But then they complain and say China is our biggest enemy and da 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 da. right? So I'm just trying to figure out which one it is. Is it Uchi Wally Wally? Is it One Mike? Is Gavin Newsom going to China bad? Or is it fuck the Chinese man? Or if it's Chinese bad and you see black people attacking Chinese people, shouldn't you be happy because those black people are fellow Americans? I don't know. It's just very confusing to me because everybody's just so hypocritical. And really what it just comes down to is everybody knows there's currency in making black people look bad on the internet amongst the right now. There's currency. You literally get paid. Elon pays you to do this. You find some videos. You could start up an account tomorrow, share videos of black people doing stupid shit, and it'll go viral and you get paid off it. And, you know, the right wing loves it for whatever reason, right? But again, China bad. Sometimes, I guess. So Gavin Newsom wants to talk about the anti-Chinese rhetoric. So on one hand, the red whites talk shit about China. But when a black man put his foot up the Chinese man's ass, it's black man bad. I just can't do it. Nothing makes sense. Nothing makes sense on the left, and nothing makes sense on the right. None of it makes sense. What up, Cannon? Shout out to Cannon Hotep in the building. AK Kamar in the building.
Oh, this a real Hotep brother.
It's all very frustrating. It's all very frustrating because I have to share air with these people. I have to share a country with these people. You know, if this were the communist utopia of Hotepistan, I'd lock everybody up. Sidebar, I was thinking about freedom of speech earlier in Hotepistan and the communist utopia that it will be. We will have stringent population controls. There is no absolute free speech. And we're going to have very strong border policy. It's almost zero immigration. You know, immigration is going to be close to zero. And this is going to be a communist utopia. And that's why, in order for it to be a communist utopia, we have to keep the numbers at a minimum. There'll be dress codes. Yes, this is not going to be a free society. And if you thought Hotepistan was going to be a free society, you were absolutely wrong. When you have free society, basically what you're saying is you want a society like the one in America, the one where you have drag queen story hour. There will be no drag queen story hour in Hotepistan. You will be locked up and extradited. There will be no homosexual activity in Hotepistan, except maybe between women.
Hotep, you're a genius. HotepJesus.com.
Only lesbians allowed in Hotepistan. No transgender people allowed in Hotepistan. This is our communist utopia. There are no political parties in Hotepistan. You're not allowed to be a Democrat or a Republican in Hotepistan. Those terms are banned in Hotepistan, and there is no freedom of speech in Hotepistan. There is no pornography in Hotepistan. There is no OnlyFans in Hotepistan. And we will be closely monitoring your internet activity. Yes, it will be just like China.
Hotep, you're a genius. HotepJesus.com.
Anyway, coming back. What else did he discuss? The governor also discussed the high priority issue of the fentanyl crisis and China's role in combating the transnational shipping of precursor chemicals. Another point that the red whites believe in. They're like, what about the fentanyl coming from China? Gavin Newsom. Hey, Mr. Ping, what's up with the fentanyl coming from China? The red whites is mad. Meanwhile, he's taking up their causes. Asaru said no freedom of speech. There will be no freedom of speech of Hotepistan. You are correct. We will lay out a list of things you're allowed to talk about. You're only allowed to talk about communism outside of our walls as a negative, inside of our walls as a positive. Just think of Mao without all the dead bodies. That's me as a dictator. Yeah. Or Saudi Arabia. You can think of like Saudi Arabia as an example. But there is no free speech. Free speech is dumb. Inside the walls of Hotepistan with our population controls in place. Anyway, so he's talking about Again, picking up conservative talking points, fentanyl crisis, anti-Chinese attacks, etc., right? Let's go back to why I knew it made sense for them to meet. It says throughout the meetings, the governor also discussed ways to strengthen the $166 billion two-way trade relationship between California and China that creates thousands of jobs and provide wages for countless families. You can't be California without China. You just can't. You can't. You just can't do it. It's not possible. It says, even though the strong trade relationship has weathered the pandemic, direct flights between California and China are just 15% of pre-COVID levels, and billions less are flowing to tourism as a result of intercultural exchanges have suffered, right? But you can't be, California wouldn't be California if it wasn't for China. You just can't decouple the two. So the fact that he went to China, it's not surprising. It makes sense. So we talked about why it makes sense for him to be there. Let's talk about the negatives. And this is stuff that people miss. And this is what you need to be talking about. It went over there to talk about carbon neutrality. That's what he went over there to talk about, aka carbon tax coming to a neighborhood near you. Now, this is the talking point you need to take up. Why was he talking to China about carbon neutrality? First of all, China doesn't give a shit about carbon neutrality, okay? What did we have? The Paris Accords agreement, where it had some sort of pact that, India and China and other nations were going to, I think this was under Obama, were going to abide by some regulations as far as the climate is concerned. And China was like, yeah, sure, cool, I'm down. And then doesn't stick with the plan. Gave you a big middle finger to Obama and the plan and said, yeah, no, we're not doing that. India, just as freaking dirty. India is one of the dirtiest places on the planet. China doesn't give a shit about the climate change. China changes the climate.
Hotep, you're a genius. HotepJesus.com.
On purpose. Anyway, actually, let's go. Let's show you that. Just for the people who think I'm tinfoiling right now. China weather modification. Let's type that in. Here we go. Here's actually a recent article. China to expand weather modification program to cover area larger than India. So this is even published by CNN. Like, this is not, this is, everybody knows China modifies the weather, right? So that's what I was referring to in that case. Let's come back. So he talks about carbon neutrality, right? So this is part of this was a climate change situation. So if you want to complain about anything, you should have been complaining about this here, the whole climate change and how climate was a big issue to discuss. And notice they put it at the bottom here. And maybe they put it at the bottom for some other reason, and I'm just speculating for the wrong reasons. But it says here, California approved an unprecedented plan to cut air pollution, shift away from fossil fuels, and ramp up clean energy production, leading the world in a comprehensive roadmap to achieve carbon neutrality by 2045. China has a goal to peak carbon emissions by 2030 and achieve carbon neutrality by 2060. And I think there's some fake news when it comes to carbon neutrality. Like, is the carbon actually bad for us? We're gonna need a climate scientist to give us a skinny on that. I was watching some video a while back, and it just very fascinating to see how that was fake news. Hold on, I want to see something. I want to look this up. Oh, okay, here we go. Yeah, so I was right. The Paris Agreement, right? And let's pull this up on our beloved wiki here. And it says, yeah, the Paris Accord adopted in 2015 was in regards to climate change, right? And then right here, the United States and China represents 40% of global emissions, blah, 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 blah. It said the agreement was signed by 175 parties, 174 states in the European Union, et cetera, et cetera. The second largest emitter of greenhouse gases is China. But I'm not going to look for it now. But basically, they were supposed to. Okay, so here, okay, United States withdrew from the agreement in 2020 and then rejoined in 2021. That was probably, I think Trump probably withdrew us and then Biden brought us back in, if I'm not mistaken. But this was just, it's really a nothing burger. Like it just was a handshake agreement to stick to some numbers that nobody stuck to. That's pretty much all that was. And there's a lot of information online about the Paris Agreement. Anyway, so that's enough on Gavin Newsom. A lot of fake news surrounding this. And again, I hate having to defend the left. It really just skeeves me out that I have to defend Gavin Newsom, as scummy as he is, even with his anti-crypto laws. But it makes sense for the governor of China. I mean, the governor of California to meet with China. It just does. It just does. All right, let's go to the next topic of the day. Let's go in the bag. What else do we got here? I don't even know if I want to talk about fucking Cheesecake Factory. I just can't with people. Let's go to some big brain shit. I got a lot of big brain shit that I covered today. First of all, let's go here. United States Treasury. United States Treasury. Here's what the United States Treasury is trying to do. They're invoking the Patriot Act under FinCEN. And basically, so in the crypto world, they have these things called mixers. And what the mixers do is they basically commingle your crypto assets with other crypto assets. So it becomes untraceable, right? Which has its advantages. And obviously, if you're doing illegal activity, you would want to do something like this if you're doing illegal activity, like we covered yesterday on Around the Blockchain. A gentleman hired a hitman to kill his wife, and he used crypto to do it. And it's just like, first of all, why would you use crypto to do it? That makes no sense. Second of all, why didn't you use a mixer? Anyway, so I want to go to this though, because I saw this. This was in the Grift bag, actually, right when I saw this, when she posted this. This lady here, Lynn Alden, she posted it. She said a lot of people are caught up with the bullishness on a potential Bitcoin ETF. Meanwhile, FinCEN is proposing to apply Section 311 of the Patriot Act against basically all types of crypto privacy, including non-custodial methods. She says here, notably, if successful, it is still in the proposal phase. It would be a big extension of their mandate to apply the section to a class of transactions rather than any particular custodial entity. Which is, and it's kind of wild that you would just say any type of transaction in that class. Certain types of math software would become illegal and sanctioned. Says it needs to be a link in the comment section. I mean, she posted it right here, but okay, whatever. So I have not gotten a chance to go through this document. As you can see, it's really fucking long. I might do a Saturday thing on this, but actually I just saw the word mix there, and I saw the word Bank Secrecy Act. So yeah, so you talk about currency mixing here. Yeah, here it is, CBC mixing. They talk about mixing, and then Monetary Control Act. Did I see that pop up? Monetary Control. Okay, no, I didn't. Okay. Monetary. What did I see? Monetary instrument. Monetary. I saw something here. So yeah, that's what's funny about when these things like the Patriot Act are, when they're written, sometimes they become so vague that they can encompass future technologies or future ideas and concepts, so that they can take control of those too. So I see they're talking about AML laws here. So yeah, they're also worried about money laundering. Money laundering is basically saying, the government needs to know all of your business, and they need a piece of everything that you do. It's basically AML laws is basically a form of extortion, a gangsterism. AML laws also are, in a way, deceptively. AML laws are deceptively hypnotic. Yeah, that's a good word to use. AML laws are deceptively hypnotic, right? Where basically these AML laws, because this stuff revolves around taxes, right? So the AML laws make you believe that the government cares about their tax revenue base, right? That's really what it does. It makes you believe that the government cares about their tax revenue base, when really the government doesn't care about the tax revenue base. They just pretend they do. Because why would you care about tax revenue when you can just print money?
Hotep, you're a genius. HotepJesus.com.
Makes no sense. Can't Hotep say he's at Cheesecake Factory right now? Shout out to yo. Make sure you get the Tex-Mex egg rolls. Those things are banging. But yeah, so because they get their money through printer go burr, they want you to think that it's the taxes that they're concerned with. So you look at the taxes and you don't look at the money printer. That's the game that's being played. So the AML laws are not only there to, increase their power and their stronghold over you and keep control of their cattle, you and I. They're also there as an illusion, as a hypnotic mechanism, as a distraction. So you look at the taxes, but you don't look at the money printer. What up, Montoya? Welcome. Are we doing big brain shit today? We just doing big brain shit. So yeah, I'm gonna have to look through this document and really dissect it and see what's in here. But the Patriot Act is being used to invoke, and a lot of stuff is mostly going to be applied at the on ramps. It's going to be applied at the exchange level. All right, let's go back. What else we got in here? We got some more closing tabs. I'll leave that one open. All right, let's go to the next story. Really interesting stuff came out today. And it's funny, like, why everybody's complaining about Gavin Newsom or something like that. Other, like, mad important shit is happening in the world. And that's usually the stuff I look at. I always look at the money. You got to follow the money, as they always say. Anyway, we published this article today. Go to Cola Leaf on menofwater.com. Go read it. It talks about the benefits of Go to Cola Leaf, one of the active ingredients in our formula from menofwater.com. So you can go to menofwater.com, hit blog, and read all about it.
Hotep, you're a genius. HotepJesus.com.
Shameless plug. Shout out to Syscoin, by the way. About to get into some techie tech stuff. Yesterday we talked about offline CBDCs. Australia just completed a pilot test of their offline CBDC, and check this out. So obviously when they say offline, it means there's no internet connection, right? And what do they want to do? They want to offer financial aid. Not only do they want to offer financial aid, but they want to offer financial aid during an emergency. Internet goes down. It's an emergency, but come get this loan. We want to make sure we can always, no matter what, even if the world is burning down, we want to be able to lend y'all some money. Money printer is not going to stop with or without the internet. Australia is a wild place. It says right here, suggestions include offering offline CBDCs as loans or grants to those without internet during emergencies. Well, I mean, if it's an emergency, are you really thinking about debt? Are you really thinking about, hey, you know, I ain't got no internet. Sure could use a loan though. Like what? It's an emergency. Last thing I'm thinking about is a loan. Absolutely hilarious. So they just want to make sure that, yeah, they're shameless, bro. They are absolutely shameless. They want to make sure that whether the internet is on or not, them loans is going to get cut. And they successfully tested this. And it's working with the chip. Like, you know, we have these chips in our debit cards now. So it's working off of that technology. Here, I'll show you. Where is it? Hold on. So right here, contactless payments, right? I'm sorry, that was China, but China's doing the same thing basically. Here it is right here, NFC. NFC enables smart cards. NFC is a technology that came out a pretty long time ago, relatively, I guess. I want to say it's at least a decade or more old. I want to say. Oh, let me see. NFC tech. Let's see how old this is. NFC tech. Let's see. Okay, so near field communications, probably much older. If I'm probably wrong. All right, so the first patent is the RFID in 1983. NFC 2006. Nokia phones. Okay, so I think it really comes about. Yeah. It really gets popularized right here, 2013. Okay. So I wasn't off too far. Samsung and Visa announced their partnership to develop mobile payments. 2013, IBM scientists, in an effort to curb fraud and security breaches, developed NFC mobile-based authentication security technology. So yeah, about a decade ago, this really became popular in our world at the retail level, right? Not at the military level or at the enterprise level. So yeah, that's what they're using to give you a loan. They basically attach it to that little chip on your smart card. Crazy. All right, let's go back. What else we got in the bag? Hold on. Let me bring this up. I was looking at a Sonny Johnson tweet. We might discuss that. I got a Napoleon Bonaparte quote here. We might discuss that. Let's see how long I go on this next topic, and then we might circle back to those. Here we go, right here. Let's pull this up. So everybody's looking at Gavin Newsom in China. Meanwhile, China just made a big move. Big move. Nobody's talking about this. So they just launched this technology called BRICS Pay, right? So, think Apple Pay, right? So you got Apple Pay. Well, they got BRICS Pay. And it says it's basically to replace the SWIFT system because, places like Russia and Iran have dealt with sanctions, et cetera, et cetera. And even the UK Standard Chartered Bank has incorporated BRICS Pay into its platform. So they like, look, if some money transactions is going down, we want in. And I'll show you the website here. This is the BRICS Pay website. BRICS Pay. And it's just launched. So remember yesterday I said, so right here it says BRICS Pay is a joint venture between 5 BRICS countries, that was launched in 2018 by BRICS Business Council among the top priorities in the annual report. So I guess this is when it went live, I guess recently, and the venture was started in 2018. I'm not exactly sure how old this is, but the press release came out like yesterday. Yeah, yesterday the press release came out, and they released this video here. Hold on. And basically they're going to do a transaction, a wine transaction you could probably put your tinfoil kufi on and try to figure out why they would use wine. So there it is. They're testing the BTC Pay. I guess this is the retail rollout, maybe? This might be the retail rollout. So you see there the QR code. Now remember during the pandemic, remember I told y'all, I said the whole thing with the pandemic was to teach people how to use QR codes, and it's the only good that came from it. Okay, so a lot of bad came from that too. But everybody learned how to use QR codes from the restaurants, right? Because he said contactless stuff. But that really was training you to use the CBDC. It's training you to use these different technologies. And, you know, we use QR codes in marketing. You see the QR code right there on the screen. I'm using it, right? It's a technology we're all familiar with. But had it not been for the pandemic, if I had that QR code on my screen, people would be like, yo, what is that thing? How do you use it? How do you do it? Nobody would have known how to do it, right? But now everybody's familiar with it. And that's exactly what they're using to complete these transactions is, so this video is from 2019, showing this BRICS Pay situation. So they are definitely way ahead of us in regards to I'm trying to figure out why the press release was issued as if this is new. Maybe they changed, because it's saying here that they use distributed ledger tech. So I'm wondering why they brought this back up. I don't know. Either way, it's very interesting to see this BRICS Pay situation thing happening. And again, more de-dollarization, right? Now, something fascinating I saw came from one of my followers when I posted this. He said, here in the comments, he posted, India refuses to trade oil in yuan and rubles, prefers to use US dollar. And we kind of went back and forth. And I thought this article was very, very interesting. Take a look here. Very interesting. And basically what this article says is, so the headline's a bit misleading. It says India prefers US dollar, right? And really what they're saying is they want to pay in the rupee or the dirhams, right? They want to strengthen their own local currency. And it also mentions something here about their elections coming up. Right here, it says upcoming elections, right? So to look bad, to strengthen China and Russia, or strengthen China, right? So, you know, they're basically saying, well, we already do business in a dollar, but really what they want to do is they want to strengthen the rupee. They want to strengthen their own local currency. It's not really so much about everybody else's currency. It's more about their own. And I guess what's happening is, in the BRICS world of things, Brazil and Russia are the dominant forces there, right? So it's kind of like Brazil and Russia get to call the shots, and they get to tell the other nations, look, you guys are going to transact in our country. We're going to have, we're going to have currency supremacy over all of you. And the other nations are kind of like, well, it's either you're our master or the West is our master. If the West is our master, we're getting pronouns. So we might as well go with Russia and China, which kind of makes sense in some ways. But India is basically saying, like, look, I get it. You're the world superpowers. We're not. But as far as these oil deals, we're trying to do this in our own currency. We have no problem with your currency, but we want to strengthen our currency. And I don't see anything wrong with that, actually. I actually don't see anything wrong with that at all. That's just a good financial decision from a country. So, and then, people post this stuff, right? They post this like as if there's some beef between the nations. And really, it's just, your typical bargaining, right? It's your typical negotiations that happen between two corporations. Two corporations have to argue in order to come to great deals. You don't just accept the first deal that's on the table. Nobody does that. You have pushback. You got to scrutinize. Even when it comes to investors, right? For example, let's say you have a investor meeting, right? And investor A, you do your whole pitch, and he goes, "Okay, great pitch. We'll give you a call." Right? Or you go into a job interview and say, "Oh, great job. Good call." And then another one where they're like asking you and peppering you a whole bunch of questions. The person peppering you with a whole bunch of questions is probably actually interested in doing business with you. Whereas a person who just gets up and walks away, they're like, "Yeah, I'm not interested." Right? And that's usually what happens in many types of businesses, business negotiations, where people just aren't interested. Just not. So yeah, I wouldn't look at that as turmoil in the BRICS nations. I would just look at it as business as usual. All right, let's see what else we got in the Grift bag here. All right, I'll give you guys a choice. Do you want me to talk about a list of places women absolutely refuse to go on a first date? Do you want me to talk about... Wait, where is it? My bad. I have to go to my profile. It's not in the bag. Or do you want me to talk about this Sonny Johnson tweet where Matt Walsh talks about, the left being anti-white? Which one do you guys want to talk about? I'm going to put the poll up here. And let you guys decide. Food, anti-whiteness. Let you guys decide. Tomorrow, Hotep's been told you. Papa Hotep said first date. All right, see, I want to talk about that. Anti-whiteness, food. I know it's going to land on food. I just know it is. Oh, no, it's leaning towards anti-whiteness. I don't think y'all want to hear what I have to say about anti-whiteness. Anti-whiteness looks like it's winning. Okay, 71% says anti-whiteness. All right, we got 3 minutes before we go to the phone lines. If you want to get on the phone lines, text Hotep in your name to 202-596-5631, 202-596-5631, and we'll get to the phones. So let's talk about this. So Matt Walsh, he tweets out, "The pro-Palestine marches are just BLM reincarnate, literally the exact same people with the exact same objectives, anti-West and anti-white," right? And then Sonny says these are mostly white people. Again, coming back to what I told y'all before about Palestine is the new BLM, because BLM was mostly white people. Says your white progressive cousins hate you, and these damn fools will still protect them to defend whiteness. And really what she's talking about here is the meta play. And this is the meta play I was talking about earlier, where if you're a right-wing account, you want to attack anything black. Anything black is a target. You don't want to say anything good about black people. It won't get traction. But if you criticize black people, you get lots of traction. You get lots of views. You get lots of clicks. And as a result, make more money, right? Shilling money. And, so she's pointing out the fact that Matt Walsh is a bit hypocritical here, or a lot bit hypocritical here, where he claims this is about being anti-white and anti-West, when really it's not about being anti-white and it's not about being anti-West. It's just about dividing people. It's about George Soros money. It's about communists becoming parasites to somebody else's struggle. But he likes to spin things. And Goldstein pointed out yesterday how he tried to spin this to some anti-white stance. And again, he tried to spin it as some BLM thing. Well, he just should have just retweeted me when I said Palestine is the new BLM. That's really what he should have did. And Goldstein pointed out how he thinks that he stole that bit from me. Anyway, we could talk about this on the phone lines. We're going to go to phone lines now. 202-596-5631. 202-596-5631. We'll be right back after this short, brief commercial break.
Yeah, I can try to get that handled for you. Again, it's only my second day, so if you can give me a second. How I'm supposed to do this? How the hell are we supposed to do this by 5 o'clock?
I have no clue.
Is that possible? Hey, do you have the password to... How'd you finish all your work already?
He's not tapped in. How'd you get that done so quick?
They think they're gonna be able to budget that?
It's money. That's money right there. You understand?
You guys finished your work 6 hours early?
He's not tapped in.
Call from
Goldstein on the check-in. What up, bro?
What's happening?
What's happening, man? What's going on with you?
Beautiful, beautiful afternoon here in sunny AZ.
Okay. Good to hear it. It's nice over here, too, man.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Not so beautiful with white people right now, though, is it? All this anti-whiteness going on.
You said what?
I said it's not so beautiful for white people right now with all this anti-whiteness going on, though.
The new victims.
Jeez. So here's the thing. Here's the thing, and here's why they don't really want to go down this road, right?
Mm-hmm.
General sentiment when it comes to Hamas amongst the right wing is they want to get completely rid of them, destroy them, get rid of terrorism, fuck that. They don't deserve to live, breathe, none of that shit. That's the general sentiment.
Right.
Okay. So then, if that's the general sentiment when it comes to Hamas, and you're now saying that BLM is the new, or Hamas is the new BLM, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where was all that tough guy shit in 2020 when your cities were burning? Because last I checked, BLM did more to you than Hamas ever did.
Oh, this a real Hotep brother.
Talk about it.
Where is it? Where is it? Can't be the same. Couldn't possibly be the same, right? Not from their perspective. Not this anti-white shit. BLM's pretty anti-white, right?
Mm-hmm.
BLM burnt down, what was it, Minnesota?
Mm-hmm.
Seattle, Chaz, remember Chaz? They took the whole shit, remember that?
Mm-hmm.
That's way more than Hamas ever did to America.
Chaz and the Chop, yep.
Way more than Hamas ever did.
Mm-hmm.
So where's your destroy BLM, destroy Antifa rhetoric? Where is that? You know why you'll never hear it? Because they're white.
Wow.
They don't give a shit about destroying and glassing a bunch of brown motherfuckers in the desert that they ain't never really got to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
They don't give a shit about that. But yeah, when it comes to that closer to home shit, the shit that was actually like running up in your neighborhoods and pointing guns at motherfuckers and having you come all out your house with your wife, your pistols. Remember that dude?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
When it comes to that though, well, you know, we could probably just vote this out. Get the fuck out of here. Shut up, Matt Walsh. And the rest of your band of fucking roving idiots. But I will say this. Candace Owens was ahead of the game when it came to this shit at the Daily Wire. She kicked it off. Matt's just following really her lead by stealing your take.
Yeah. He took my take and Candace's take and put them together. Wow. That's grifty. That's grifty as hell.
Telling you, man, this is why you don't want to start conflating this shit. Like, If you're just a normal motherfucker listening to Matt Walsh, you've been impressed by his rhetoric, and now he's on this shit, and you find yourself feeling some type of way, leaning close to his perspective, don't do it. Don't do it. Just leave that alone. There's a lot of ways that BLM and Palestine, Free Palestine, is the same. A lot of ways, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anti-whiteness is not one of those ways. Don't go down that road. Because then you're going to be left looking like a fucking chump for not doing shit all of 2020, all of 2021, all of 2022, while motherfuckers were grooming your kids, burning your cities, and doing all kinds of other crazy shit.
Ain't did nothing but complained online.
Did nothing but complained online. As soon as some brown faces get a hold of that shit way over there in the desert, though, you talking about glass them. Man, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, and you know, they complain about how black people treat Jewish people and how black people treat Asian people. And they think this is a racial thing, and it's not a racial thing. In Brooklyn, this is a proximity thing. This is a economic war that's being waged. And black people are fighting back against the treatment that they've received from those two groups, the Orthodox community in Brooklyn and the Chinese community in various cities across America. Hurry up and buy. We won't hire you. You know, the customer service in a Chinese food restaurant in the hood is just absolutely terrible. I mean, maybe there's a reason why. But the fact of the matter is they siphon money out of the black community. None of it comes back. And that's a real issue. They're disrespectful and they're guests in our neighborhoods. And when black people, my point is, when black people fight back against things they don't like, they villainize us because they're too afraid to fight back against the people sexualizing their children.
Exactly.
They want us to be punks like them.
I just don't want to hear no tough guy shit. Listen, if you're going to be hard on Hamas, that's fine. If you're going to equate Hamas and BLM, that's cool too. Antifa, all that shit. Mm-hmm. But I want to see you go just as hard in the paint on the domestic terrorists who are a bigger threat.
Yeah.
So it's just logistically proper.
And an immediate threat.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. I want to see you go just as hard on them, if not harder, than Hamas. Put Hamas on the shelf for now, because they're way the fuck over there, right? Put them on the shelf for now. You want to fuck up some terrorists, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
But until then, shut your ass up. Oh, no more tough guy shit, right? Misplaced tough guy shit.
Hotep brother.
No more of that.
I agree.
That's pretty much all I got, though.
Hey, man, I appreciate you. Good words, man. Hotep and Bill.
Hotep and Bill, man.
Goldstein, batting 1,000. Rudy calling. Let's talk to Rudy. I'm going to send him a text message. I just got pictures of our new product design. And this shit look clean. This look clean right here. The shape of the bottle's off, but that's fine. We'll fix that later because that's not the actual bottle. But what does that say there? Oh, okay, I see that. That's dope. Yeah, that's really, 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 really dope. I like that. I like that. That looks good. Oh, wow. Here's the other one.
Call from
Rudy the Vet.
Rudy, what's up, bro?
What's going on, brother?
Not much. Hanging in there. What's going on with you?
Hey, first things first, man. I think you missed the forest through the trees on the Gavin Newsom thing, dude. Okay, and this is what I look at it like. Biden was installed, man. Let's not, we got our third eyes open. This dude was pure installed. I'm not saying the vote machines were flipped, but mail-in ballots, come on, man. They've been saying for years, mail-in ballots are the most No other country in the world does mail-in ballots. They know it's a way to rig an election, so the mail-in ballot system was in effect. They installed them.
Yeah.
Now, Gavin Newsom, whatever he put in his press release about what he talked about, I believe that about as much as you know. I mean, it's come on, man. Everything they put in their press releases is false, dude. I'm guarantee you that dude didn't go over there and talk to Xi Jinping about the Uyghur treatment, about human relations, about some Christian pastor they got in jail. Gavin Newsom went over there to talk about how California's state pension plan is tied in with the Chinese economy tighter than glue, man. Mm-hmm. And they went over there to discuss money and maybe calm down some war tensions. But let's, you know, Gavin Newsom with California being so tightly tied to the Chinese economy is indebted to them, just like Joe Biden and his son taking all the money that they took from the Chinese Communist government.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, I just think that the install is coming, bro. The install is coming. This dude is. It's not about him running for president. He's going to be installed as the president because he's the greasiest lizard there is, dude. He's the greasiest lizard there is, man. And as of anti-whiteness comes from whites. You know what I mean? Like, let's not, Matt Walsh and them want to cry and shit like black people are out there like, I hate whitey. Nah, man, it's the fucking left-wing ideology of the college campuses. It's the Susan Rosenbergs. It's the what's his name, man? That Bill Ayers. It's those communists from the 70s and 60s, the Weather Underground, that are all college professors now. It's the fucking university system. It's white people that hate whites. Do you think that a left-wing white hates me more than they hate anybody, dude? They hate a white guy like me more than anybody. They hate a white guy that despises the government and wants individual rights and liberties. They despise me more than they hate any other race out there, man. So when people talk about anti-white racism, listen, dude, I drive in Norfolk, Virginia. I drive in Portsmouth, Virginia. I've never had any bad experiences with black folks in the poorest of fucking neighborhoods. I grew up here. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I mean, as a kid, you know, I had my fights and shit, but never had just anti-fucking white rhetoric come out of fucking just your average black American's fucking mouth, man. That shit is all white on white fucking hate, dude. It's white people hating on other white people. And it's like, what is it that, who was it? I think it was Judge Joe Brown. I seen a clip and it was like rich whites look at poor whites and call them white trash and hate their lifestyles. Mm-hmm. That's where the fucking hate comes from. The hate doesn't come from black Americans towards white. I mean, there is some. There's always an individual fucking case of some fucking body who hates white people just to hate fucking white people. Just like there's the fucking individual case of some white people that hate black people just to hate black people. Mm-hmm. And it's stupid, man. It's 2023. I've said this a million times on your show, man. Hating anybody but because of their skin color in 2023 is the fucking stupidest shit ever, dude. Mm. It's the stupidest shit ever. But that anti-white rhetoric that you see that Matt Walsh and them are always crying about, they'll never point out where it's coming from, man. They'll never make it out because it's more of the divide and conquer strategy, man. God damn, you imagine if poor whites and poor blacks got together and were like, yo, we're getting fucked all around. They wouldn't know what to do with themselves, man. They wouldn't know what to do with themselves, man. And on Tuesday nights, man, a couple buddies of mine get together, man, a couple white dudes, a couple black dudes every Tuesday night, and they have beers together. And they were talking about that last night, that if the whites and blacks don't get together, man, we're all going to be speaking Spanish soon because they want to replace us all, dude.
That's
and
true.
You know what I'm saying? And that was a mixed room, man, a mixed room of people, blue-collar jobs, 2 electricians. One of them works at Verizon. One of them does window services in the union. You know what I'm saying? Two white dudes, 2 black dudes, and me. We're all sitting around just chilling. And, you know, they're drinking their beers every Tuesday night. We call it the Liars Lounge. We get together and tell lies, man. And I'm hanging out over there. And, you know, my boy Rob said, hey, man, if we don't come together, if we can't get this shit together, you know, it's not about replacing whites. And when Tucker says the replacement theory, oh, he's a white supremacist. Nah, man, it's about replacing Americans, man. I've said this before, and I'll say it again, man. But Matt Walsh, man, another thing, Shapiro, Walsh, all of them, the wrong fucking ones with the microphone, man. The wrong ones with the microphone.
Yeah,
and I don't know how many times I got to beat that point, man. Turn them motherfuckers off, man. Tell that motherfucker every time he tweets out, man, that he's a fucking lying piece of shit, man. Because it ain't the problem. The problem ain't with black people just running around hating on fucking whites, man. The problem is the fucking rich whites, the ones who send their fucking spoiled, rotten ass liberal kids to college, are fucking some self-hating whites. Just like the self-hating, just like black folks will say Jason Whitlock's a self-hating black, man. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, man, god damn, man. If people can't see the damn divide and conquer, man, they can't see it, man. They're smacking everybody in the fucking face and they can't see it, man. And it's that fucking internet, man. I talked to a brother last night. I told his car, he's like, "You got Venmo?" I said, "I don't do shit on the internet." And he's like, it's ruining America. And we had like a 5-minute conversation on what the internet and social media has done to this fucking place, man. And people can't see. I just don't understand why people can't see it, man. But if they come to the Hoteps, maybe you could take a few more of them out of the darkness into the light, brother. So I appreciate what you do. Appreciate the chat, man. Y'all have a blessed day, man. Rudy the Vet is out, man.
All right, yo, Hotep and Bill. Strong Dad, go ahead. Let me talk to Strong Dad. Strong Dad calling. Let's talk to Strong Dad. See what he got to say. While we wait for him, I'm gonna pull this up. I played one of my followers in chess yesterday, and I just want to point out just one simple thing to make your chess game better, like instantly, because you definitely don't want to play like this guy. I gotta go to my profile and find the game. So let's put this on the screen. As you can see here, I'm on like a mean ass win streak right now. Total green, that's all like wins. Insane.
Call from
Strong Dad, what up, man?
What's up, man? What's up?
What's good?
Not much, man. Hey, man, you know what? I just wanted to I was going to say exactly what Rudy was going to say. Shout out to Rudy for getting it off first. I appreciated that. But, from the perspective of a black dude who used to blindly hate other people, I used to hate white people. When I lived in Baltimore, I hated white people. I didn't even have any reason for it. I didn't, no one gave me a reason to. I just hated white people. And there a lot of my friends were like that. But I wanted to say that I think that all of that kind of ended in my generation. I feel like my generation was the last group of black people to actually have that level of animosity. I don't really see it in young kids today. I don't see them hating white people the way that, we say that it's happening. And I mean, to be honest, when I look at it throughout my entire life, most black people like white people. Mm-hmm. They act like they don't, but there's a lot of instances where the lines are really blurred, and they forget that we look different, and we forget that they look different, and we all just kind of get along really well.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think that this complaining about white hate narrative thing, it's just, I might still be anti-white, and when I say that, I mean I'm anti these types of white people. White liberal, I'm anti-white liberal, and I'm anti-ultra-white conservative, like Matt Walsh style. Them's the kind of white people I don't like. The regular white man is not really an issue. He's just trying to live his life and raise his kids just like me. So I just wanted to say that, really.
Oh, that's good points. I totally agree. As someone who used to hate white people, it's very unproductive.
It really is, man. It takes up so much time and energy. You spend your day thinking about what somebody doesn't like about you. That was one of the reasons I left the Moore Science Temple when I was locked up, because they spent every day, like, we would read the Circle 7, and then we go right to talking about the European. And it was just like, I can't do that.
Right.
You know, you're not fostering any type of growth. You know what I mean? I'm just sitting in this pool.
Well, that's a control mechanism.
Yeah.
You know, whenever,
That's
you know, your leader keeps you focused on an enemy, you know, it's designed to keep those people charged up and under control. Because productivity usually bores people, right? They usually, oh, we don't want to talk about anything constructive, but, you know, they get riled up. The white man is the devil. Yeah. You know, people want to sit down and hear that shit all day. The Democrats are bad. Yeah. They want to hear that shit all day. They don't want to fucking hear about, okay, here's what we got to do to make life better. They don't want to hear. Most people don't want to hear that shit. Because that takes work, and you have to think about it.
Exactly. So yeah, man, that's my view on it. I think that if you are in Hotepistan and you at all complain about anti-whiteness, you should be court-martialed. Is that fair?
Yes. Yes.
And if you complain about anti-blackness too, the same thing goes.
All complaining gets you court-martialed, arrested, and extradited.
Okay, good.
If you want to complain about something, you have to have a list of solutions to go along with them.
Now, can we do it like a little 1984 style where there's like a telly screen in everyone's room? That way I can put them through like a fitness workout every morning.
Absolutely.
And have, you know, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Yes.
We're going to have elite communism like you've never seen before.
Yo,
it's going to be the true communist utopia. I just got to figure out what the population cap is.
300,000.
It's not bad. Because, you know, you at a certain point, communism doesn't work, right? Once you have too many people, it just falls apart. So we have to figure out what that threshold is. I was thinking on a smaller scale, like 500 people.
Okay.
Yeah. But 300,000, you know, that's a small city. It's a small city. Might be doable.
Now, if it expands, you know, if the city gets too large, would there be like an instance where we would have, you know, we would establish a smaller city and, you know, between the two cities, they would practice a form of capitalism and competition, but within the city, it would be strictly communism. Wait,
say that again?
So like, you know, like let's say the city grows too large for itself and we start to have too many citizens. Like How are we going to keep that same structure if it in fact has to grow too large?
It's a good question. We're gonna have to start kicking people out. Maybe we'll have a social credit system.
Okay.
This is the Hotepistan communist utopia.
Hey, facts. Y'all better buckle up. I'm prepared for this, man. I was locked up. Once you go through that, you can go through anything. So, you know, I'm good. We good.
What did Karl Marx say? He said, "To each his means," or something. Wait, how does it go? Hold on. Let me look up this. I really love this phrase too. From each according to his ability, to each according to his needs. Yeah. That's going to be a mantra of Hotepistan. You will need to give to Hotepistan based upon your ability, and you will only receive based upon your output. So we're going to modify this a little bit. It's not perfect. We'll have to modify this a little bit, but if you don't put out, don't expect to receive anything.
It sounds like a Plato's Republic type of.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You know, like people are born, or not necessarily born into, but they're a type of caste on based on things that can't change.
Yeah. We'll figure it out though. We'll have a nice council of advisors that will figure this. We'll have a population control advisor.
All right.
Maybe. I think we might have to put Goldstein as one of his jobs. He'll have to be population control advisor.
Inquisitor, Goldstein.
Yeah, he's an inquisitor because he's always looking out for the insurgents. You know what I'm saying? So he's definitely gonna have to be in charge of, watching over our public and seeing who's an insurgent, a potential insurgent or not. And we're gonna have a rigorous application and interview process to become a citizen of Hotepistan. So.
and of course, licenses to have children and all of that.
License to have children? Yeah, absolutely. This is good because we have to monitor our population. Absolutely.
Okay, cool, cool. I'm just, and the hijab is coming. You know what I'm saying?
The hijab is definitely coming. Women will have to wear the hijab. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, there'll be no cleavage in Hotepistan.
Hey, this place, I'm liking it already.
Yeah, absolutely.
Word. All right, perfect, man. I'll see y'all in Hotepistan.
Yo, Hotep and Bill.
Hotep and Bill.
So let's walk through this game really fast, and I'll show you where everybody goes wrong as a beginner player. So he tries to do like this weird. First of all, this setup isn't bad. It looks like it's not even an accelerated dragon. I don't even know what this is. They call it. The computer says this is called the modern defense. So it's not exactly a bad setup. I go with the big three in the middle because if he's just gonna give me the space, I'll take it. And then he does this, right? And I'm like, all right, it's still not bad, but if you look, I got a lot of space. Like I got a little bit of scope here. I got a little bit of scope here. I can bring the knight out. I can get the queen out. I got a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? I got a lot of options here. He doesn't have too many options. He probably should want to develop this knight out. And then I see this pawn move, and it's like attacking my pawn, and I'm like, okay, whatever. I'll just defend, right? Keep the tension. And then he plays his move, and I'm just like, huh? And I scratched my head for a moment here, like, what do I even do here? And at first I wanted to take, and then develop the bishop like this, and then castle. But I was just like, nah, let's just develop the bishop out, right? Let's get ready to castle, because I don't know what he's about to do. And he's only rated 888, but, sometimes people, they rating snipe, right? So I just developed the bishop out, and then he does this move. And I'm like, what the hell? He wants to trade his dark bishop? Now, usually as black, you don't want to trade the dark bishop, but maybe he just wants to get rid of the bishop pair or something. So I had the option of taking, but I didn't want to do that. I just didn't want to do that. It just didn't make sense to do that. So I just castled. I was like, all right, let's see what he does. And then he takes the bishop. I'm like, wait, you took the bishop? All right, fine. So he takes the bishop. Actually, let's do this in an analysis board. Let's look at this position analysis board. So here the computer has me up by, it's still basically a drawn game. Oh, no, this is the beginning. I'm sorry. So let's go to that move, right? So right here. So the computer has me up 2.5 points. I think he screwed up. Where'd he screw up? It was this queen move he screwed up. This queen move was just absurd. So this is the lesson. It's like usually you want to develop your minor pieces before you develop your queen. And then like, what is the queen even doing here? Like, what was the point of even bringing the queen here? Like, I don't even know what that was. I was mad confused when he did that. I was like, is there some sort of trap or something? So he takes, and then I just develop naturally, right? And then he pushes, right? So when he pushed, I was like, oh, I see what he's trying to do. He's trying to do like some sort of like aggressive, attacking style where he pushes the pawns. I castled, so he's going to just push the pawns, right? He just wants to push the pawns, right? And then just attack me and try to obliterate the king side. And I was like, I'm looking at the board and I'm saying to myself, just based upon fundamentals, I have 1, 2, 3 pieces developed. My rook's involved in the game, eyeing down the C file. My queen's getting ready to, maybe come out here or, come here and then connect the rooks. I don't know what I'm about to do, but he made that move. And I was just like, fundamentally, this is wrong because his king is still in the middle of the board and he has no pieces developed. He just gave away his dark bishop and none of his pieces are developed, right? None of them are developed. He just got the queen sitting here. Meanwhile, I got 1, 2, 3 pieces developed. So I know fundamentally I'm winning, right? I don't know by how much. I can't see this little bar. I don't know that I'm up 7.5 points. I don't know it. All I know is that I'm winning and I don't know how. So I decided to take the pawn here. That was the right move to do. And then he decides to play here. And finally, he's developing pieces. And I thought this was kind of weird. And I'm like, maybe he wants to bring the knight in here and then jump into F4 because that's usually a good square for the black knight. So I think the computer wanted me to take here, but I decided to take there, which is a bit of an inaccuracy, but it's still good, right? I'm up 2 pawns, right? And then he brings the rook over, which I knew he wanted to do, right? Because he's trying to set some sort of, situation here where he has the queen and rook battery, and he's attacking my king. And I was just like, I saw that already, but I already planned to take with the knight here. So I did that, right? And then obviously the knight prevents the queen from coming here because the knight would take. So he takes with the bishop, and I just take back with the pawn, and everything's all normal. And I calculated all this, queen and then queen here. And obviously the queen stops checkmate. Because if I don't develop the queen there, he just wins and it's checkmate, right? So after that, now he has to come back to think. So he decides he's going to develop, attack this. This is a really good move, by the way. Really good move. Because if he wins this, then he attacks my queen, right? Because you got a knight's jump. So I calculated all of this. After he made that move, I was like, oh shit, I didn't see that move. I didn't see that knight move develop. So I defend with my knight. I bring the knight back. Usually backward knight moves are hard to see. So I jump back and I protect the knight. I protect the pawn. Then he jumps in with the knight. And that's a bit of an amateur move. I forget what the computer wanted me to play. Oh, the computer wanted me to take here. And I tried to calculate this, but this was very complicated. Because I looked at queen takes, knight takes bishop, queen takes rook, king e7, and I wasn't too sure what to play there. And the computer, I forget what the computer variation said, but it basically said I was still winning. But anyway, so I decided to just play defensive, bring the bishop back, right? And then he plays this move, which is a bit of an inaccuracy, I think. And then I think what he thought was I was going to take, and then he was going to jump in with the knight. So I decided to just kick the knight, and the knight has to go backwards. Now, keep in mind, the knight can't go here because then the pawn would take, and then the knight can't take because I would just take back with the queen. So I calculated all of that. He jumps back, and then I take here. Keep in mind, knight can't take because the queen would take, right? Now, also, you have to keep in mind, my rook is now opened up. I just opened up my rook on the 7th rank, or to attack the 7th rank. So he castles. Now, I don't think that was the right move at all, because you done castled and put your rook right in front of the king. So things get a little bit spicy here. So now what I wanted to do was I wanted to liberate my queen. I wanted my queen to be able to move. So I moved the knight here so there's no checkmate issues. So he decides to take. And then I play the bishop in to attack, and we get the trade. Then he plays here. And I calculated all of this, and I just simply move right here. Now here I'm just setting up a nice little discovered attack. Now the tactic I was trying to set up was I thought he was going to go here, then I would go here, then he would go take, then I'd go here, check, then he'd come back, and then I go check, then he'd go here or somewhere else, and then I take. Or he would block with the queen, I would take, he would take, and then I would take. This is what I thought he was going to fall into, but he didn't fall for the trap. Good on him. He didn't fall for that trap. It was a queen sacrifice I tried to set him up with, but he doesn't do that. So he does this instead. So now I want to open up. I just want to open the game up now because I'm winning. I'm up 2 pawns. So we can just transition to the end game, take the queens off the board. He's like, no, we're not going to take queens off the board. Now here I make a bit of inaccuracy. Actually, no, here's not the actually, yes, this is inaccuracy. The correct move here was take, and then fork the 2 rooks. And I completely just fucking missed this. It was late at night, and I just completely fucking missed that. And I knew either way I was winning, so I didn't really stress calculating too much here. So I just played the knight in. Computer says it's still good. It's still a good move. In fact, I think it's... Oh, now the computer's saying my move is the best move. Okay, so I did make the best move. I take that back. So I jump in, and I thought what he was going to do here, I thought he was going to take the queen and just swap over the queens, but he didn't do that. Instead, he does this, and that just sets him up for failure because then I win the rook, right? And now here's where things get interesting. So obviously he wants to attack the knight. I jump away from the knight, and we're applying pressure here, and now we got danger levels. Also, knight is threatening this pawn to check the king, right? So all of that happens. I jump in, and he says, okay, I'm going to protect the pawn. Good job. Now, the problem is if I get the rook to the back rank, that's checkmate. So I moved the rook over, preparing checkmate. And now things are just really bad for him. So he opens up a little bit of Luft, which is German for lift, for his king. And then I calculate all this and I'm like, oh, you still lose this rook. So if you guys want to pause the video for my replay videos, you can pause the video and find out why this is a bad move. And basically what happens is I check. His only move is to go there. And then I do this little fascinating play, which is sack the rook. I sacked the rook right here. Totally just sacked the rook. Sack the rook. He takes with the knight. And then I get this fork. And I win the rook. And that'll put me up 2 pieces against 1 plus a couple of pawns. And then I win. So yeah. So moral of the story is, this is where he resigned because he saw I was just losing here. But you got to be able to calculate these tactics. So I saw I could sack the rook and then win back the other rook. So I went a pawn and a rook for a rook. And the moral of the story is fucking develop your pieces, yo. Don't go all ape shit and bring your rookie moves. Rookies always bring their queen in the game. They're like, oh, I got to get the queen involved. Look at my queen. She's just chilling. You know, I don't bring my queen in until it's absolutely necessary, right, to protect. So that's the moral of the story. Let your bitch stay in the background. Bring her in when it makes sense. All right. Somebody in the chat said he wanted to play me. He said we need cleavage, otherwise Hotepistan will be boring. See, you got to get your mind on something else. Got to get your mind on something else other than titties. AK call in. Let's talk to AK. Matari said chat went real dead when he got the chess. Yeah, this is the shit I love to do. I love to fucking bore people. Like that's my favorite thing to do is just like talk about like real geeky shit and see who's still interested. I'm just a fucking geek at heart. Jesus Girl said I know nothing about chess. Yeah, I know. Most people don't. He said I need to learn how to play this game. Yeah, I think everybody should learn how to play. I'm just a strong advocate of making chess more popular, right? It should be a more popular game. India is kicking ass right now in chess. They whooped Magnus Carlsen's ass last week. I think an Indian came around and they won. It was funny because at the same time we had all this stuff going on in Israel and Palestine, the Qatar chess masters were going on at the same time. And they were talking about Qatar was harboring Hamas. And I'm like, Hamas better not interrupt my chess tournament, man. I'm trying to see what's going on with Hikaru and the rest of them guys. Hey, what's up, AK?
Hey, what up, HJ?
What's good with him?
Not much, man. I haven't been able to watch live. Been crazy busy, but I watched back, and I just got a shout out to the Grift to Power. I thought that Rudy and Mike was as spicy as I imagined it would be. That was good. And I thought that Goldstein and Strong did very, very strong performances. Also, shout out to Kay. I did like a little meet and greet here in the Twin Cities because I do like I'm a weekly guest on like the local radio show or whatever. And she came out and said hi. So I got to meet Kay in person. So that was super dope. And meet her son too, who is going to be a fine citizen of Hotepistan. Boy's got a good head on his shoulders. He's a man, but yeah. So I just wanted to start off with that. Hey man, so with this anti-whiteness, I think Rudy brought up something that's important, right? And you know, it's true that it is basically Marxist white leftists against basically the average working white man. That's basically what like BLM, pro-Palestine, because there's just like if you go and look at these crowds of who the organizers are and who the people are, especially here in Minnesota, it's like a majority white people because that's, you know, what the country is still. The country still has a majority of white people, right? Mm-hmm. Like, you don't, if you go to North Minneapolis, South Minneapolis, all right, you're not seeing pro-Palestine flags. You ain't even really seeing BLM. You go to the white areas in North Minneapolis and you go to the white areas in South Minneapolis, that's where you're seeing a lot of it. Now, I'm not trying to say that there aren't black people that support BLM because there definitely are, but that's the truth. But I want to say something too, is that, you know, that tension between, you know, the bougie whites and the poor whites,
you know, that's been a real tension forever, right? Because it's like you've said before, we have class issues. And when Matt Walsh can't see that, I question, is he really that stupid, which is possible that he's like a useful idiot, or he wants to push a divide because he knows that he can grift off of it. Because I don't think he's a true believer, like, oh, whiteness is the greatness or whatever.
No, he's just
but I can't tell the difference. What do you think he is? Do you think he's a useful idiot, or do you think that he's just grifting?
He's grifting. He's grifting. He knows his audience very well. He knows they love the anti-black rhetoric. They know how much they love BLM. You know, if you go online and just say BLM bad, like if we just look at my TikTok, for example, right? And you look at the highest performing videos I have. Let me see if I can bring it up. My highest performing videos.
Get off of your phone right now. Get off of your. I told you. Get off of your phone.
Lord have mercy. Did you hear that?
No,
you
I
can't.
did not hear
can't.
that.
No, you can't hear the audio. Only the audience can. So yeah. So when I look at like my highest performance video, so obviously we have Scott Adams, some COVID stuff, but my BLM video, where is it? Has like some of the highest views of all my content. So it's really just a thing of knowing the audience, and that's why some people, what you have is what do they call it? Where you're like a slave to the engagement.
Sure. Yeah.
But, you know, anytime you see your audience likes a certain thing, you tend to reiterate on that type of content.
Yeah, I mean, the folks that are truly in it for the grift, you're 100% right. I just make content that I find interesting, and some of it hits, some of it doesn't. Because I made a video, and I tagged you and told people to go and check out your CBDC stuff about the banks closing or whatever, all over the place. And, you know, I got like 10,000 views, so it wasn't a terrible video, but I definitely thought it was important and interesting that people should check out what you always talk about, the CBDC stuff. But yeah, you're right though, man. I mean, like there's definitely folks that's all they're about, because they don't really, you know, they're only doing it for that one thing. But it's so fascinating to me though, that people don't realize. So like if you're average, you know, average white dude on the right, and you keep on hearing these anti-white messages that, yes, it is anti-white, like these people don't understand that is for a purpose to divide them, especially when you're starting to have more quote-unquote non-white people get politically activated. Because I agree with what you've said in the past, and I've actually reiterated it when I've made content, that the majority of black people they're not Democrat voting leftists. It's just they don't vote. But as black people get more involved and non-white people get more involved, when all of a sudden that starts to pick up traction, and then all of a sudden you get the, oh no, guess what, you know, anti-white, and then they start pushing their, oh, woe is me, white people really have it all bad, then it starts to turn off all the other people that are not white, saying like, oh, okay, here we go with this bullshit again, and it perfectly divides. So they don't realize, and this is the part that's frustrating, that by buying into that narrative, they're actually hurting their own cause of freedom against the Marxists.
Yeah. They work against themselves.
It's wild to me that people can't see that, man.
Everything they do works against them. Well, you need to have a functioning critical thinking brain to see it. Most people don't.
Right, and that's the part that, like, if you know, in Hotepistan, people will realize like this isn't about what you think that it is, and all you have to do is just scratch below the surface. Like that's the thing; it's not that deep. Like it's not about being white, right? It's not about being black. It's about understanding that there are people that want to control other people, and the best way to do that is to divide people, to conquer them, to, you know, let them live in debauchery, right? Like people that think that there's like this liberation of like, I can do whatever I want without any type of social order, regardless of what is happening. It's like, no, it's to keep the population lower, but in a negative way. So you can control the masses at a much easier rate. So yeah, man, this the anti-white thing. But I did want to say that in regards to anti-white, you know, that debate between Mike and Rudy, that was anti-Mike.
So.
Shit. Shout out to Mike. I think Mike's
Shout out to Mike. Shout out, man. All right, man. I'm gonna let you get on, but Hotep and Bill, man, keep up the great work, brother.
All right, Hotep and Bill. Netanyahu says, "We are the people of light; they are the people of darkness. We shall realize the prophecy of Isaiah." Oh man, they gonna rip him a new one for that. Somebody's gonna call him racist for that one. That's kind of wild. But like when I was talking about my point, with AK, you see my best performing videos, or one of the best performing videos. BLM was for LGBT, 140K views. BLM was a PSYOP, 48K. Like these all do much better because that audience is just, people just hate BLM so much. It's a trigger point. So, I could turn my page into an anti-BLM page and I'd probably grow really, really fucking fast. But I'm just not interested in doing that. It would get boring and redundant and I'd want to off myself after a certain period of time. Jonah, call in. Let's talk to Jonah. Where's Jonah at? Let me text him. Let's talk to Jonah. See what he got to say. This is wild coming from Bibby. All right, what's going on in my mentions? Let's see what's in my notifications here. What's this? New U.S. House Speaker announces resolution supporting Israel as first bill. I mean, that's not surprising.
Call from
Jonah. What's up, man?
Nothing.
What's good with him?
Let's first address what the AK was just talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said yesterday, a Jewish Malthusian don't give a fuck about a yarmulke.
Indeed.
When these people say that they want a population of 500 million, they have no problem in killing their own children.
Right.
So you have to realize that. And then when I say these people, because there's someone asking yesterday, well, who are these people? They are the ones that say they worship the sun, but they hide in darkness in secret societies.
Mm.
So they'll tell you that they worship the sun, but everything about their motivations, their policies, their politics is in darkness. So they are darkness. Just like BB was trying to say that he's like, fuck him. He ain't shit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. On to the next one. I was the one who tried to call at the end of the show last night. I'm going to just put it out there. Now, I did send you one thing about what this is, what's going on over there. It's the bunting clover leaf map. I don't know if you want to go into that one. But if not, I also just sent you here in the text message a quick video about Gavin Newsom before we go into the China stuff.
All right, go ahead. Talk about it. Tell me what it say.
No, I sent him a video of who his father's supposed to be, which isn't. But then who his father's not supposed to be, the Nazi was saying, was the guy who claims to be his father. So it's just a quick one, like just going through, like, this is supposed to be his father, but this is the guy who's not his father, but looks like pretty much exactly like him.
Oh, he got some daddy issues going on.
Yeah. So, anyways, but when we go to China, right? China only exists because it's America's puppet through the banking cabals.
Here we go.
If you go back, Rockefeller. The Rockefeller's very first foundation was the Chinese Medical Association or whatever. So he was in China before he was in the USA with foundations.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have the whole, now, do you know who Owen Lattimore is?
No.
Okay. Owen Lattimore, it was the Asia Pacific Foundation or something like that. If you look, I should have pulled this up. The last name is Lattimore. Now, this is actually during World War II. The Rockefeller was founded in this foundation. I think it's the Asia Pacific Relations. And they were traders. They were open traders for quite some time. So they were now. Then on top of that, you also have, so then on top of that, you also have the so their trade Rockefeller Foundation was actually sending all this money and everything over to China before the war, through the war. Then you have Marshall with the Marshall Plan after the war. And then you have, so basically a bunch of traitors at the top of the U.S. Army who went out of their way to ensure that, to ensure that the Soviets didn't lose the war because they had no value. So the Americans sat on their ass for like 15 days so the Soviets could come over and take some credit on the Japanese defeat.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had a bunch of top-ranking generals and whatnot over in China and the Manchuria region that were actually betraying the allied partner of Chiang Kai-shek. Now, I'm not saying he's better than Mao, but he was the known partner or the known ally. So you have a bunch of people who in the USA went out of their way to ensure that China and Mao would win. Then, Rockefeller, he got kicked out for a little bit of time, allegedly. But I brought this up probably 20 times now.
Mm-hmm.
If you read his memoirs, first thing he says, Chase benefited immediately. So he was back in China running all the banks by 1972. It wasn't that big of a deal for him to get kicked out for a couple of years and come back and set up all banking. So China is just a puppet of the cabal. That's why the Britons allowed them to have their country back after the 100 years or whatever.
Mm.
So, basically all I'm saying is people need to realize that China isn't this power that's working against the cabal. It's the dialect. It's the other opposite pull, right? So you have the levies, you have your pulls, and China's just the other one pulling it exactly where they want.
Nobody understands that though. Nobody. Everybody looks at it like, oh, China's the enemy. I'm like, yo, come on. Everybody's at the same table, bro.
And it's new. I was like, if China's the enemy, why the fuck has every president since Nixon went out of their way to ensure that the U.S. and the World Trade Organization would work with them despite all of the fucking violations?
Exactly.
Because they don't give a fuck.
Exactly.
Again, these Malthusians, whether they're elected to Congress, whether they're Chinese Communist Party, just like a Jewish Malthusian don't give a fuck about a yarmulke, the Chinese Malthusian don't give a fuck if you eat rice.
Mm.
And then everyone wants to sit back and pick their sides, but it's like, hey, which one of these cousin fucking goat fuckers at the top are we gonna actually like World War II? You had two Red Shield family bastard children fighting against, and then they set off for like 100 million people to die to figure out which one of them would be the one that was left in power. And I'm referring to Hitler and Stalin.
Mm-hmm.
So again, and then also World War I was three cousins with the Tsar, the King of England, and the Kaiser. They're all cousins.
Yeah.
So every time one of these big situations goes off, it's a bunch of cousins at the top who are sending you off to die for which one of them gets to control you.
Yeah, they all intermarry.
Yeah.
It's just like the Rothschild. Their real last name ain't even a Rothschild.
Yeah, and then you have like a situation like Israel right now. So that Red Shield family funded every single war since the last 400 years on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
Now they own the land. This one's going to be over, right?
Yep.
And everyone's like, oh, well, we got to side with these people. We got to side with these people. You're not siding with anyone. You're killing yourself on behalf of the leaders. So, anyways. I won't get too hard on the pain today, but it's just really funny to see people who are gonna not take a step back. They'll make the assumption that Joseph Stalin was an evil person, but not realize that FDR was his cousin and he was a piece of shit.
Oh man, that's a hell of a bomb.
Yeah. So, anyways, Hotep and build.
Hotep and build. If you are in my locals, if you are a member of the YouTube, go check the communities, and I need you to go vote. I just posted our new design and I need your help to decide which one you like better. So I posted that to our members only section, and you get to see the new design coming for the new Master Focus bottles. I'm turning the phone lines off. I just don't have the patience anymore. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this tweet. So I was in the spaces earlier with Sonny Johnson. And this lady came up there spewing a typical socialist rhetoric, capitalism bad, all of that stuff, right? And basically all I said was, hey, I'm afraid that black women be used as a pawn for Marxism, communism, socialism, and minimum wage is bad, And then here she is. She came and she said, wait a minute. Was you the guy that was hosting a space with a non-black woman about digital currency? So I can't even host a Twitter space with a non-black person? She says, because if so, I don't take anything you say seriously, as you are the type of black conservative I don't rock with. Why didn't you have black people co-hosting the digital currency? Oh my God. Oh my God. It's just black women. This is what happens to black women. Racism just gets inside their head so bad that they just lose all types of common sense. She said she was a black nationalist on a space. That's cool. You can be a black nationalist. That don't mean I gotta be a black nationalist. Like, I have to do a digital so the funny thing is, I need y'all to go watch this episode. This shit was hilarious. So this was yesterday. I'm gonna show you right here. Hold on, I'm gonna bring it up. Cause I fucks with the black people in the digital currency space. Heavy. We stick together. Black folks, we tend to stick together. At least the real ones do. So it was me and Blood. Me and Blood were on this show. I'll pull it up here. You guys will be able to see on your screen right now. So me and Blood were on the show yesterday. And anytime me and Blood on the show, we always make this joke that we always say, you won't be able to monetize this show anytime me and him are on. And we have a great time. You know what I'm saying? So here's Crypto Blood right here. And here's both of us on the screen at the same time. It's kind of just weird because it's like people are like, oh, you don't work with black people. And it's just like, what do you mean? Like, I always work with black people. I work with whoever it makes sense to work with. I don't really do the whole, I got to work with you because you're black. I got to work with you because you're white. I really don't get into all of that type of stuff. It's kind of, I don't know, unproductive, I guess you can say. So there we go. This me and Blood on the same screen. This is for her. I'm posting this for her so she can see, like, I was in the same broadcast with another black person. And Blood's always on this show. So when I join, it's kind of like extra special. But yeah, it's just really weird, I can say though, when I go to the conferences, I usually kick it with, I kick it with Six usually. I kick it with the black folks, Six, or the Syscoin team. The Syscoin team is usually POC, and they got a couple of cool white dudes. I kick it with TradFi Guy. I call him TradFi Guy. He's a normal white dude, a little bit older than me. And we sit down and we just talk, and we talk business and then we talk personal shit. He's really fucking cool. But I had to tag Stacky. I'm about to yell at Stacky. Because Stacky is a person of color in the cryptocurrency space, right? This is one of my homegirls in the cryptocurrency space. Shout out to Stacky. But Stacky comes into the spaces, but she never comes up to the stage, I think, because she's like busy maybe with the kids or, doing something else. So I had to tag her in his tweet so she can see the shit I got to go through. But yeah, this lady is I don't know. I don't know what's up with her. I don't think she's gonna make it, you know. And she follows me now? Like, why do you follow me? I don't know why you follow me. Like, why would you want to follow me if I'm not the type of black person you like? Steph said, I got whole interviews with black people in the space. Yo, I remember one time I checked the comments on my YouTube channel and somebody was like, you never speak to black women on this channel. And I'm like, oh my God, are you serious? I literally did a whole month of nothing but black women. I had Sunny, I had Rook, I had Sister Samaya. I even brought a black female Democrat on the platform and respectfully debated her. You know, again, I just go by, if you're interesting, I want to talk to you. If you're not interesting, I don't want to talk to you. Like that dude, I forget, he runs Hex. People were like, yo, you should interview this dude. He's a billionaire and he runs Hex. And I'm like, I'm not interviewing him. He seems corny to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't pick people because it's going to get hits. It's a factor. I do want to get hits, but you know, if you're corny, I don't want to talk to you. Black, white, whatever. The amount of times I've featured Shock on this channel, it's just like, we have to have inclusion. You're black. You have to have inclusion. It's like, yo, leave me alone. Just do your thing. Do your thing over there. I'll do my thing over here. And we'll see what happens 10 years from now. How about that? Anyway, I need a nap. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Grift Report, 2 p.m. Hotep and Bill.
Yeah, I can try to get that handled for you. Again, it's only my second day, so if you can give me a second. How am I supposed to do this? How the hell are we supposed to do this by 5 o'clock?
I have no clue.
Is that possible? Hey, do you have the password to... How'd you finish all your work already?
He's not tapped in.
How'd you get that done so quick? They think they're gonna be able to budget that?
It's money. That's money right there. You understand?
You guys finished your work 6 hours early? He's not tapped in.
Wow, it's drawish, but this